Hi everyone, it's Whitney. Welcome back to my channel. So today's video is my Friday video. It's my diamond paint with me. It's my, question video, like whatever questions you guys want to know or just random topics I'm going to do on Fridays from henceforth on my channel, just because I'm trying to get like a schedule going of what I want to film on certain days. So today's topic, and Lisa from Diamonds and Stitches, I watched her video, her shout out video, and she shouted me out. So Lisa, thank you for that. And she kind of wanted to know what like my fears were with being in the car and being like in an airplane. So I'm going to explain that today. So before I even get started, I'm going to say this off the top. I have anxiety. I have it really, 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 really bad. Like it's to the point, like as the older I get, the worse it's becoming. And that's just, from things that have happened in my life and things that I've seen, hence what I'm going to tell you guys. Oh, before I even get started, I'm doing this picture here. This is like a crystal kit. It's just all, all those rhinestones. It's a 40 by 50. This is called Table for Two. And I got it from an Instagram company called Rainy Day Boutique. So I will link this Instagram in the description box if anyone wants to check it out. But there you have it. But I haven't done much of it, so that's why you're seeing like this section here. But like I said, I have anxiety really bad, and I'm going to start off first with the airplane issue. I loves me some television, and I love to watch new shows. I love to find new shows, to watch. So I was browsing my TV one day, and I happened to stumble upon this show called Air Disasters, and it's on the Smithsonian Channel. So if you have DirecTV, it's on channel 570. Yes, 570. It comes on Sunday nights. Like they're in season right now, so it comes on Sunday nights. I believe it's 7, 8 o'clock in some areas. If you live in Texas, like I live in Texas, and it comes on here at 7 o'clock. It might come on at 8 o'clock. It doesn't matter. I have my TV set to record. Anyways, so I started watching the show a long time ago. Like I started binge watching it, binging on it. And I have learned that airplane travel is actually the safest. Out of every travel, like a plane, out of a train, out of a car, an airplane is the safest. So I am confident in air travel, and I will get on an airplane if I have to, like if it's a severe emergency, like I don't live near my parents, and if something happened and I needed to get there soon, like immediately, I would get on an airplane, I would go. But watching the show, like you learn a lot. Like I've learned that sitting in the last 7 rows in the aisle seat is actually the safest seat on an airplane, which that's all that's only where I sit from now on when I travel. Sitting on the wings, that's where the engines are. So that's like the most dangerous seat ever. But watching that show and seeing like airplane crashes, like reenactments, and then you see some people who have survived an airplane crash and talk about it, like it is scary. It is so scary. Like it is the scariest thing ever. And watching that show has got me, fearing airplane travel. But like I said, it also has helped me learn about safety measures and what you do if you're in an airplane crash and how, things like that. So I'm confident, like I said, in airplane travel. I do not want to travel on a plane, but I will get on one if I have no choice because I have to get somewhere quickly. I will get on one. But the car thing situation is something totally different. So I used to live in an area where it was called Nicholas Circle. So you basically have all the houses and they're all around a circle. So it's like a one-way in, one-way out situation. So I was going to a doctor's appointment one day, and I got to the stop sign, which is the end of the street, and that is where you make your turn left or right, and that is the only way in, or like I said, in or out of the circle. So I got to the stop sign, And there was a police officer there, and he's like, stop, you can't leave, no one's going in, no one's going out. And I'm like, well, what's going on? So I look over to the right, and then I noticed that it was a severe car accident that had like just happened. Like one cop had like, I guess, drove past it and he stopped or something like that. So he had just like got there. This car, I guess, was making a left turn to come into the place I lived, the area Nicholas Circle. They were making the left turn to come into the to the housing area, and a car T-boned them. And it T-boned them so hard that the car was like on its side. And so the neighbors in my area were trying to flip the car over when the cops came. And that's when I, was like, oh my gosh, like, are the people in the car, are they okay? Like, I had no idea. Like, I mean, this car was totally like, it wasn't even like total. It was worse than like like it was the worst like car accident I've seen up close in person. Usually when I drive and I see a car accident, I just don't look that way because I just don't want to see something at all that I shouldn't see. And I did today, I mean not today, but that day I just happened to look, and I mean it was one of the worst sights I've ever seen in my entire life. And I don't know, like that car accident has like totally changed my life, and it's going to get graphic. So click out if you don't want to hear the graphicness, or you can go ahead and skip like 3 or 4 minutes. So when I looked over at the car accident, like I was in my car and the cops are like, you can't leave. So I'm stuck there. Like I'm right at the front of this car accident. So I'm stuck having to look at it. So I happened to just look over there, and I saw the passenger in the car, and her head was completely crushed and her brain was exposed. That has traumatized me, and I will never forget it. Not only that, her eyes were like wide open, so she was dead already. Like I believe that she was dead like as soon as the car got hit, before the car even flipped on its side. Like she died like instantly. And then I found out later on that the girl that hit them was going 94 miles an hour when she hit them. So the lady did have a driver in the car because she was the passenger, but the car was like flipped over so much that I couldn't see the guy at all. I just saw the lady. So it was a sight to see, and that has, like I said, scarred me. I mean, I didn't even know these people, but it has bothered me, and just like I fear driving because of that. Like I don't want to get hurt, and you can't really control when you're a passenger. The driver is basically in control of, to me, like your life. That's like on an airplane, the pilot is in control of that airplane, and it is his job to land it safely. And if something happens, that's the fault of the pilot. Or sometimes, like when I watch air disasters, it could be other reasons of why, things happen. But it was just sad. And then when, I was sitting there, like I said, the people in the neighborhood were trying to flip the car over and save them. And that's when the cop was like, they're already gone. Like they're both dead. So, and they were an older couple too, that I think they were like boyfriend, girlfriend. They weren't married. So like, and it, came to find out, because, there were witnesses on the scene, and a little girl was out there. And it's sad that this little girl saw this. Like, it is the saddest thing. And yeah, and what makes it even sadder is that I think the girl was a 17-year-old girl like caused this accident. It was terrible. All because her and another guy were street racing. And like, you don't street race, that's not safe. And not only that, they were street racing in a zone that was a school zone because it was lunchtime. And here in Texas where I live, the high schoolers, they get out of school for lunch. So it was, the lights were blinking like to slow down, and they were racing, and that's what happened. But like the girl who did this, she got 8 years in jail, and you know that her life is ruined because of it. And the guy that was street racing with her, he went to jail as well. But her life is like ruined. Like, you went to jail, you have 8 years in jail for this. The guy and the lady, like their families, you know, their families were upset about it. And I mean, rightfully so. And then what makes it even worse is that, like I said earlier, the driver of a vehicle is the one responsible. So if something happens and the accident is found to be their fault, it is the responsible of the driver. So what had happened was the guy in the car that died, and the girl that hit them, she didn't die. But she did have a passenger with her, and I believe that girl broke her back. So yeah, she did have passengers who did get hurt. But what happened was the guy that was driving the car, the one that passed away, the guy that was driving, he made an illegal left turn. Like, he made the turn. It was not safe to do so. So when he did that, that is when they got hit. But it falls on her too, because she was street racing. But had she not been street racing and it had been just a regular accident, it would have been his fault, because you do not make a left turn when it is not safe to do so. So that was, I don't know, it was quite an experience for me, and it has changed my life. I also have seen, and this was, I believe, was it last year? It was last year. My husband and I were coming home. Our kid was with us, and my husband was coming home from work. I had picked him up. He was driving the car. I witnessed a little girl. She had to be about 8 years old. We were out of the school zone, so we had passed the school zone, and she ran in front of a car and got hit. And when I tell you that this child flew about 8 to 9 feet in the air, I thought she was dead. Like, I had my husband go over there and check on her. You know, I called 911. I'm like screaming into the phone, like, oh my gosh. So seeing things like that, and like having a kid too, like, that has made me paranoid. Like, my son, when he gets older, he's not going to always want me, you know, walk him to the bus stop, pick him up from school. So he's going to want to cross the street. And, you know, I get fearful of things like that. So it's just, I don't know. It's just how it is, I guess. But the little girl, I don't believe she died. My husband did say that her foot was turned in the opposite direction. So I believe she completely broke her ankle and her foot, like all of it. And it was her fault too, because she ran in front of that car. So, but I can imagine like hitting a child, or anybody for that matter, but hitting someone. I'm sure the lady that hit her was traumatized, because she was completely upset. And not only on top of that, her car was brand new, and you could tell it was new. And I was just like, oh my gosh. So yeah, those are my experiences, and why I have fears of being in the car, and like having to travel too. Is like, you're out in an open place traveling, and it's terrible. Like, I traveled to, I was in Florida and I drove back to Texas. I drove with my mom and my son, and we were driving in a construction area, and the area had these two walls up on the highway. So basically you're stuck next to the other person in the wall on the highway, and we were driving next to an 18-wheeler, and I was trying to get, you know, past him, but the car in front of me was going slow. The car behind me was too close, so I was stuck. And this guy in this 18-wheeler was falling asleep. He was hitting that wall, and I'm just like, oh my God. I told my mom, like, we're gonna die. We're encased in this wall. There's no way out, so we're stuck here. So, you know, that's another reason why I don't like to travel and things like that. And being in the car is just the scariest thing. I do not like one-way roads where a car is going in the opposite direction. Like, they're going, like, you're going straight and then they're coming to you. Like, I hate roads like that. Like, I fear them, and I cannot, like, I just can't. Now, I do have to travel because I'm moving soon. Like, I've been saying that, but I'm moving soon, and I do have no choice but to travel. And I'm just, like, I don't want to do it. But you know, it has to be done. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm sorry too if this video was like all over the place, but I tend to forget a lot of things, so I'm trying to make sure that I keep everything, like I say everything I need to say, because I don't want to have to like make another video, you know, about the same thing twice. So yeah, but that is my fears, being in the car, and why I fear the car and why I fear the airplane. But yeah, that accident in my neighborhood was one of the worst accidents, and the fact that I seen it up close in my face is terrible. And like, you know what too is weird about it is that when you see an accident, like you're in the highway and stuff, like you don't really get to see someone up close like that. So for me to have seen that woman like up close like that, like I mean, I was close up on her, and you know what makes it even bad is that people were taking pictures and stuff, and I'm like, put those cameras away. You know, these people have a family, and you don't want to do that to them. Yeah, but it was the scariest day of my life, and if I could unsee that moment in my life, I would love to unsee it. That would be great, but I mean, I saw what I saw, and yeah. And not only that, I was stuck there to the point where like they were removing the bodies and they had sheets up, so I didn't see that. But I mean, I sat there for a while, and when I got to my doctor's appointment that day too, my blood pressure was through the roof. They were like, oh my gosh, what? And I'm like, there's some people by my house, they got a car accident and they're dead, and I'm just like freaking out. So yeah, that is, yeah, it's traumatic. It can be. But anyways, I am going to probably get off here. I'm probably going to finish this. Well, probably. I know I'm going to finish this off camera, because I always finish my diamond paintings off camera. I just, you know, just to have a, you know, talking video so you guys can get to know me. But I'm going to get off here, like I said, and I will see you guys, or talk to you guys in my next video. And if you guys have any topics for me or anything like that, please leave it in the comment section, and I will make a note of it, and I will talk about it next week in my Friday video. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.